this next speaker is Ian. Ian's also a big name in the gaming industry. He's from the Witching Studios, and he's going to talk to us about how we can connect and bond in a meaningful way through games. Okay, so welcome, Ian. Okay, easy.
Hello, no need to click. I believe I have a video prepared. Gentlemen? I did not grow up in front of a television. I spent most of my time with my grandfather as he told me stories. He told me of Sherlock Holmes, of Justice Pow, of the Condor heroes, of Greek mythology, Roman mythology, Norse mythology. And it was very telling of who he was and what he enjoyed. I found out a lot more about myself, what I enjoyed. And also, I got to live in worlds bigger and greater than anything I could have in my own imagination. Telling stories is a way that we as humans teach and learn. And play is how we practice what we listen and learn about. Now, games are a fantastic way to do so. Hi, I'm Ian. I tell stories and I make games. I've been doing so for the last 6 years. And very much what I believe in and what I'm about is sharing an experience. And this is something that you can do very easily with games and with the people you play with. Because while a game can be a very personal experience, it can also be something you share with the people around you. Now, I told this talk very much for the idea of somebody that either doesn't play as much games or only know a certain type of games. So if you're talking about Angry Birds or Clash of Clans, yes, those are great games, but those are not exactly the kind of games I'm going to be talking about today. Today, I want to talk about games that have story, that have meaning beyond just the experience that you're currently having. And through what we have, it gives you an opportunity to bond with the people around you, specifically children. Because I believe that there is a poor connotation towards playing games right now, because the mass media really has us believing that playing games is bad, or somehow it's a zero sum. If I play a game, means I cannot succeed in school, on things like that. I definitely do not believe in that. And I think that there is a great opportunity here because, like I said, we as a species grew up by listening to stories around a campfire. And things like that have facilitated us and allowed us to see and understand things that is beyond what we already know, which is why we have cave paintings, is to progress a story that would outlast the person telling it. That's what writing is about. So games allow us to share knowledge. One of the biggest ways to do that is in history. So this is Civilization 5, and it's a game that takes you through the ages. You start very much as settlers and cavemen along the plains, and you build and you find out technologies. You find out about the wheel, iron working. You discover oil over the process. And games like this, they talk about a lot of other things, like, for example, social policies, religion. And that learning process is also expanded upon because games like this have something called a codex. You can actually, an encyclopedia. You can read more about the things that you are seeing. Why are the English longbowmen so much better than, say, a normal bowman? These things are explained. And more than that, it's also a lesson in history as you are progressing. So any kid playing these games, there's a lot of larger concepts going on, but at its core, he's learning things he didn't know before he started playing that game. And that in itself is a great lesson to learn. And I'm hoping that educators here will start to embrace games as a way to convey ideas and information. The funny thing about this is that there are civilizations that you meet along the way, and they're all represented. Singapore is represented in this game as well. We are a maritime city-state, and you can co-conquer it if you like as well, right? But anything else, by meeting all the various leaders that will pop up and you can talk to, they all also have AI, and they're kind of built towards the kind of character you are, and the kind of character that it's based upon. The funny thing is that there is a known bug in this game where Gandhi is actually the most violent leader in the game. And he will most likely attack you upon meeting you. So, that's one thing about games. The other thing is also about taking you to places that you didn't know about, or you take you to places where, you only know about in your textbook, right? So, further after this clip, there will be one that that shows you what it's like to be a paratrooper in World War II. It's one of the Medal of Honor series. Now, that opportunity allows us to, to see exactly what the people then and there were experiencing. Something that it's very hard to understand and very hard to encompass within a textbook. So context. Games provide context, and it allows you to see the kind of stories that the people were living then and there. And not only that, you had control about what you did, because your own choices and the things that you do in the game very much dictates the response of what's happening in the game. So, you talk about history, and then here we go.
Jumping out of an airplane is one of the safest things a man can do, provided he follows proper procedure. When the red light goes green, you jump. Follow the man in front of you. Don't stop, don't think. Go, 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 go! Deploy your chute automatically. The chute is designed to drop you straight down. If you're headed for a bind, you can manipulate the riser to steer away from obstacles. Steer into clearings, look for green smoke. You know why we look for green smoke? Because it's proper procedure. Go, 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 go! Only rookies and civilians botch their landings. You're not a rookie, are you? Clearing your chute will allow you to survey the DZ. It will also make your landing less painful. If you're heading toward danger, adjust your incoming trajectory and attempt to grease the landing. You'll be battle ready much faster. Do you read me? Boom, 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 boom! Vertical envelopment, troopers. Death from above. There are some in the Army who think you will amount to nothing more than a failed experiment in a new kind of combat. They don't know you like I do. I'm convinced that the end of Nazi tyranny, when it finally comes, will be delivered by the airborne. Don't disappoint me.
And that's something you can't encompass in a textbook. That feeling, that understanding of what's going on. But more than that, games are more than about fighting and war. There is also relationships and ideas that can spring from conversation. So this is a game. Wow, my brain just spaced. Well, this is a game. And, and very much what this game is about is, this is a point-and-click game. So the style of game of this is that it's a lot slowed down. It's not about how quick you react with your mouse and keyboard, but rather about how you think and how you communicate. This is a game that is great to play with your kids. And it's about the growth of the characters and how they deal with problems and situations, which is something that I believe that the education system right now does not touch on enough. The whole idea that, making choices and, figuring out thinking laterally on how to deal with problems is a very big part of what needs to happen. So, yes, there is story, but within the story, there's also agency. It gives you the ability to move, react, and also respond to what's going on. So, aside from just playing the game, if you are playing this with a child, you can actually talk to them about how do we solve a problem together? What do you think we should do? And it's a safe space because in a point-and-click adventure, you can't die. You just continue again. So that whole idea that fear of failure is lost when you play a game like this. And at the same time, something's unfolding and you want to know more. So there's drive to continue as well. A lot of games nowadays, at least the very famous ones, it is very much like a hamster wheel. You keep going for the sake of going, for the sake of going. I believe that a game should be more than that. And to have games with story, with strong story and strong characters can also tell us a little bit more about morality and how we do the things we do. Why do those characters do that? What drives them to do that? And when kids get a better picture of that, I believe that they're going to go out and practice what they've seen in the real world interacting with people. And not only that, this is very much functionally, it could very much be that bedtime story that you share with your child. Right? It's about enjoying it with them versus something that is just simply told. And in the mistakes you make, you can talk about it as well. We did this wrong. What do you think we did wrong? What could we have done? What is the other kind of solution we could have made? Other games like this is Child of Light. It's a beautiful game. I wish I could let you hear a bit more of the music, but it's a fairy tale. It's about a princess that's caught in another world, and she is exploring and finding out, how does she get back to the world that she knows. And if you notice, there is a little firefly that she talks to. Now in this game, the keyboard controls the girl, but the mouse controls the firefly. And the firefly plays very much into the gameplay because he collects energy for you, and he also leads you in places that are too dark. Now, this allows a child, even as young as 5, to actually move the firefly around and explore and solve puzzles and learn what's going on in the story. There is a combat system in the game that is a very old-style, Japanese-style combat where it's slowed down so that the both of you can actually decide what you want to do along the way. So, the aesthetic aside, right, there's so much more interaction you can have with a child. The misconception that if I'm looking at the screen, I'm brain dead, that is lost. That is broken as far as it comes to games. You have that opportunity to move past that. So, like in this situation, the firefly, using the firefly's ability to actually unlock the door. And that's very much what I'm talking about. You could just leave the mouse with your kid and go figure it out. What do you think you're supposed to do? How do you intend to do it? And then that kind of leads and carries the story on. It's also, another thing to note about games is that it is nowadays, an extremely cheap investment, right? You take your kid out to Universal Studios, congratulations, you've blown at least $100 if you've got 2 kids and a family. A game like this costs $15. It gives you at least 8 to 12 hours of enjoyment, at least. Some games, it skews even more. You get more hours of what you're you get more of what you're paying for. And it's something that your kid can take with them all the way. They can replay it. They can share it with their friends. And games are a great way for kids to actually interact with their peers as well because they shared something at home. It's like, when we were younger, when we used to watch a show and there was you can't download programs, it was whatever was on TV, and the next day you go and like, oh my goodness, did you catch that show? Right? It's that same experience that can be recreated with games. And you as a parent can be a part of that experience as well. Right? When you hear them talking about, that was cool. We found a great way on how to solve the problem and how we want to deal with, the problem that was presented to us. But past that, past just playing games, there is something bigger as well. There is also the matter of morality and the choices that we make. This game does something very unique. You can actually turn back time, right? And you can actually remake the same decisions and take a different choice. Now, this is a great conversation you can have with your child. Why did you make that choice? And what repercussions those choices have later in the game. That applies to life as well. Every choice your child makes will affect something in the future. If anything else, our kids are the choices they are going to make. And games are a great way to do that in a safe space. And I'm going to, very soon, I'm going to run a scenario where she makes choices and she decides to revert and take another choice. And in that point, right, also she foresees repercussions that will come at some point. And if I timed it right, it should be right after this little bit here.
So don't think I'm blind. I see everything here at Blackwell. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, and leave me alone.
You can't fool me. I know everything about this school. I cover the waterfront. So you better figure out what side you're on.
Please, leave me alone. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for nothing, Max.
Man, I should have stepped in between Kate and David. That asshole was so over the line. I could rewind and try something different. Hey, why don't you leave her alone?
Excuse us. This is official campus business.
Excuse me, you shouldn't be yelling at students or bullying them.
Hey,